I'm going to say something that few people would admit. I just bought somebody's worst guitar. I did, right? I bought this thing used, and the person that sold it, this has to be their worst guitar, their least favorite. Otherwise, why would they have sold it? Of course, there's going to be some edge cases. We're speaking in generalities here. You know, maybe somebody desperately needed money for surgery or something, but the vast majority of the time when you buy a used item, especially a high dollar used item like this, that was their least favorite or worst item in their collection. Should that bother me? Should that affect the way how I view this guitar, how you view this guitar? Well, you just heard it. You heard in the intro. You see it now. You tell me what you think. And I'm going to tell you what I think in this video. So this video is going to be a little bit of like killing two birds with one stone for me. I wanted to do a video showing off the new guitar because I'm so stoked on it. But it also just gave a great opportunity to have this discussion because I think it's really interesting and something that I don't really hear people talk about. But I think it's gone through everybody's mind, you know, whenever they purchase something used. So we'll take a step back a little bit. Let's go over the guitar and then we'll talk more about that. So this thing has got the longest name in history. It is a Gibson Custom Shop Made to Measure, Murphy Lab aged, 59 reissue, ES335 that was then sent to Danocaster for further aging. It's so ridiculous. And this thing's awesome. It is such a cool instrument. It is actually a very close homage to my favorite vintage guitar of all time, the Holy Grail as far as I'm concerned, a one of one 1960 ES335 that CME actually just sold. It looks identical to this. It's blonde. It's got the 345 inlays, and it's got the Bigsby just like this has. And I'm assuming this guitar was spec'd originally by whoever ordered it or the dealer that did it specifically to match that guitar because it is just a very famous, very cool instrument. So this actually originally had a trapeze tailpiece. I put a Bigsby on it. More on that in a second, but gosh, what an improvement. And I filmed the install too. I did it myself. So maybe that'll be a future video for you guys to check out if you're curious. But yeah, that's the guitar. It's got Ron Ellis pickups in it. This thing is like specced out. And I am enamored with it. This guitar is so awesome. I am so over the moon with it. But I got to be honest, when I first got it, even before I bought it, when I saw this listed, I was going, why? What is wrong with it? I had just seen it on Instagram, on Danocaster's Instagram account, and I'd actually saved it. I don't know if you guys do this, but I've got a folder on Instagram. It's like dream guitars, favorite guitars. I'll just throw stuff in there whenever I run into something really special. This guitar was in there. I just was so blown away by it. It looked so good. The aging looked awesome, nice and subtle and tasteful, but just really vibey. And it popped up like, I don't know, a month, 2 months later, locally. I went, oh my gosh, I have to reach out to this guy. The price was obscene. Nothing I could ever afford without selling a ton of gear. But I just reached out, touched base with him, and long story short, he was interested in one of my amps, actually as a partial trade, my 65 Vibrolux Reverb, which you guys have seen on the channel. That is gone now. I've moved forward to the trade, obviously. And it just kind of came up to me again, the thought of, why is he selling it? I think I might have even asked him why he's selling it. And I remember why, I need money, whatever else. But ultimately, what it comes down to is he sold it because it was his least favorite guitar. It was his worst guitar in his collection. Does that matter? Should that bother me? Now, that is a question I think everybody has to ask themselves. I think what it comes down to ultimately is how confident you are in your opinions. Do you feel like you have enough experience to have a calibrated idea of what's good and what's not good? For me, I think the answer to that is absolutely. I've played a ton of guitars. I own a bunch of great guitars. I played a ton of vintage guitars and modern reissues, high dollar stuff. I know what a good guitar is. I know what a good guitar sounds like, at least for my tastes, right? Because we're speaking generalities here. A metal player is not going to be interested in a vintage style Gibson. That's fine. I don't care. It's irrelevant to this conversation here. Similarly with amps, right? I know what a good amp sounds like. I know amps that I played that are not very good. I didn't really like them. So when somebody plays my AC30 and they might go, yeah, I don't really like it. I don't care one bit. That AC30 is my favorite amp of all time. It is absolutely killer. I don't need, some random person or maybe even a friend or an acquaintance to also affirm that. Now, it hasn't always been like that. When I was first getting into guitar and I got my first Gibson, I was desperate for affirmation, for people to tell me, Tanner, this thing is awesome. This thing is good. This thing is good. Because I thought it was great, but I don't know if it's good or not. I've only played that one Gibson. How can I know? So I was desperate for affirmation from people. Nowadays, I don't care one bit, right? Because I own a bunch of incredible Gibson guitars. I've played a bunch of vintage Gibson guitars. I know what a good Gibson sounds like and feels like, and this is one without question. Now, the other element to it, because every guitar I own is used. I bought used except for one. So I'm used to this conversation. I'm used to this thought in this topic. What I've realized also is that every guitar I own, I've modified in some way or another. In this case, I put a Bigsby on it, which is a huge modification. And to be honest, it took the guitar from here to off the charts for me. It completely transformed this instrument, both in feel and sound. It's just so much better than it was. I also did a full setup on it, put my preferred strings on it, and it just took the guitar to a new place. So could have been down to, the trapeze tailpiece on the guitar. Could have been down to just to set up the strings for the guy. Could have been down to just, he's got a vintage ES335 and this is just never really going to dethrone one of those, no matter how good this is, just because of the novelty factor of vintage guitar. I don't know, but frankly, it doesn't matter. So that's my 2 cents on the matter. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's listen to it some more and get some more detailed shots of it and close this sucker out.